And then yesterday, during kind of towards the evening, Stella starts complaining about her eye.
Yeah.
Nothing seemed wrong. But then all of a sudden she started to have some goo there. And I was like, took her up to Melissa. I was like, hey, I think she's got something in her eye. So Melissa went in with a Q-tip. She got all the goo out. She was like, I think I got it. It's probably an eyelash. Put her to bed. 4 a.m. Kid wakes me up crying from the bathroom. I get up, I go in there. I actually do this. Oh no! When she turns around, because her entire left eye is glued shut with snot. And I'm like, oh no. And she's just crying because it's 4 a.m. She doesn't know what to do. So I wake up Melissa. Melissa comes in. We clean the eye off together. And then it's like, that's pink eye. There's no way that's not pink eye. Like if something was in that eye, it wouldn't be still doing that. So she's crying about everything. We give her some Benadryl just in case it's an allergy reaction. We give her, and to help her sleep. And we give her some cough syrup just because she was a little congested from all the crying. So we put her back to bed. She goes to sleep. She wakes up at 6:30 a.m., wakes me up. Still got the snot, whatever. Melissa's like, I'm going to take her to urgent care at 9. She said that the night before, but she had also said she would get up with her. She didn't. She slept through that. So I woke up with her. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to sleep in the spare bedroom. I'm going to set my alarm clock for 9. I'll take her to urgent care. Every fucking 5 minutes, the dog woke me up. She woke me up. The dog woke me up. She woke me up. I could not go back to sleep. Finally, 9 o'clock rolls around. Melissa actually did wake up. She's like, I'm sorry, I slept in, but I'll take her to urgent care. Okay, cool. I'm going to go lay down. I lay down. I pass out. She's in urgent care with her for I want to say 2 hours. Comes home. Comes upstairs. Kid's got pink eye. Needs drops. Melissa has to go back out for the drops. She also needs an antibiotic just in case she has a sinus infection. But Stella's allergic to amoxicillin. So
same.
Oh, you are? Well, guess what? Don't get an infection right now because there's a national back order on the thing that replaces amoxicillin. So we had to make a call in to figure out what she could get for that. So then we're like, Jesus Christ. So finally we get some stuff in her eye. And then Stella is super anxious about everything. I don't know why. She just is. So now it's just she's constantly washing her hands and touching herself and washing her hands and touching herself and washing her hands. And we're like, please stop, please stop, please stop. But now she's got to tell us every time she washes her hands. So we're losing our fucking minds. And then literally we're going to get done with this podcast. I'm going to get 4 fucking hours of sleep.
God.
And even less because we have to wake up the kid at 2 a.m. tonight to put more eye drops in her eyes. Because the eye drops are hey, 4 eye drops. After 4 eye drops, she's good. She's not contagious anymore. She gets eye drops once every 6 hours. Then it's done. Okay, cool. Well, right at fucking 7 o'clock, her other eye starts bleeding snot. Just bleeding snot. Just like the first eye.
Just start doing it. Just start squirting that one,
Well, that's the thing. We did. However, it's a dose behind. So the question is, does it count for both eyes? But the urgent care is closed. Urgent care is closed. And we can't send her to school. The school has had huge pink eye breakouts. So they're like, don't send anything.
Anything. Even as an adult. We had a dude at work who had pink eye 3 weeks ago. He came in. They were like, nope, go. Immediately sent him home.
So, So we're like, okay, we're going to be at 4, just at 4 to send her to school, which is how we thought about it when we texted Phil. But now it's we're going to be at 4 and 3.
Yeah.
So are we willing to put Phil's kids at risk or send her to school and put the school at risk? So then we're like, so now Melissa I have to pack basically a suitcase. Melissa has to take her to work with her because Melissa works alone in an office so that she could just be quarantined in the office away from Phil's kids here until she gets the 4th dose. 6 hours later into the shift. Yeah. It's fun stuff. It's fun stuff. And this is all assuming that I don't get pink eye at some point in the next fucking 48 hours, which is probably going to happen.
Your hands.
I've been washing my hands nonstop, but who knows if it's quick enough, you know what I mean? And who knows what she leaks on. She's a fucking 6-year-old.
That's true,
it's just shit everywhere, man. Yeah. So, yeah, this weekend has been a fucking nightmare, man. A nightmare. All right, but let's do it. Let's now that I'm in a terrible mood, let's talk about something that's going to keep me in a terrible mood.
Time to get your fix. It's a horrible gaming podcast. It's not good, it's not great. Horrible gaming podcast. It's not even what you would call fair. It's really not that good. Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Hello, my name is Zachariah with Old Man Gaming, and you, dear listener, have decided to tune into another Horrible Gaming Podcast for whatever reason. But I am not usually alone. With me is
Neil, aka Tiny Wizard.
And as promised, we've got our breakdown of the Game Awards show today. But before we get to that train wreck, we've got to thank the people who allow us to make the train wreck weekly. Number one, behind our ugly mugs, you're seeing a custom graphic that was supplied by Mr. Mark Bell. We thank him for that. The theme song to this show and all of the shows here at Old Man Gaming are supplied by the man who makes the music, my brother, Nick Van Sliders, and I thank him for that. So, with that said, Neil, we're busting through this because we're starting late. We'll be right back with Fans Reaction.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so that brings us to our first segment, our most important segment. That's Fans Reaction. Now, first, we've got a little back business. Somebody posted after we had already recorded our last podcast. So 2 podcasts ago. 2 podcasts ago.
It's like a forever time ago. It's like an eternity.
Bloody Nose, who is a friend of mine on the internet. He's become a fan of our show, and I've become a fan of his stuff. He put in Meow at 9:30, yes. And it was when I was bitching about Stray, and that's how dedicated we are to reading comments, is that I went back 2 weeks to read you saying meow and putting 2 cat emojis up. So, hey, Bloody Nose, welcome, man. I read comments. So, let's get into this week's comments, which we actually only had 2, surprisingly enough. So, first and foremost, we're going to do the shorter one. Asylum66. Yes, 1 of 15, hashtag solo survivor. I don't... What the fuck is he referring to from last show?
1 of 15 solo survivor. I got nothing.
Well, we all had 4. That would be 12. 12 predictions, right? So what the fuck is 1 out of 15 solo survivor? Because we were doing predictions. Asylum 66, we're old men and we forgot shit. So whatever you're referring to, let us know and we'll read it on the next one. Then William Hohen jumped in. Hi! Exclamation point. I play on my phone and on a PS4. That's pretty much it. My library is my Game Pass, really. We have like 900 PS4 games available. Smiley face. Actually, Microsoft didn't buy any studios, really. It might still not happen, right? And wow, well, yeah. And wow, Phil, what a great speech. Congrats. Love those prediction shows. They're great. Thanks for the show. Hashtag Starfield LOL. So, okay, let me respond to this in order. First of all, you're only playing on your phone and a PS4. You don't need Game Pass. I get it. That's no problem. If you had something to play Game Pass on, it would be kind of dumb not to get it, but totally get it, man. Totally get it. That Phil was right about that one.
But somebody like myself, though, and anybody else who has like a Razer Kishi, like I started, was it last night? I was laying there, I couldn't necessarily sleep right out of the gate, so I just started playing Skyrim on my phone with the Razer Kishi.
I actually saw that you were playing Skyrim through Xbox.
Yeah.
I think
that was playing.
That is true, and that's really like everybody's always been like, I wonder if Microsoft is going to have an answer for the Switch. That's their answer is cloud gaming. The only thing that sucks about cloud gaming is you have to play for the highest tier. So like for him to pay the absolute highest price point at $16 or whatever it is now, or $15 or whatever, just to play streaming games on his phone. I mean, there are a lot of games in there that you can do that with that are great games, quality AAA games. I don't know if that's worth that, though. You know what I mean? I wish they gave you an option to get the cloud, xCloud for cheaper. You know what I mean? Like if you're just using if you're just using xCloud, $8 a month, I think that would be pretty cool. Continuing on to respond to things, Microsoft didn't buy any studios, really. It might not happen, right? And wow, Phil Spencer, what a great speech. I guess we might as well say it. Neil's already nailed one of his predictions a little bit too early, in my point of view. Supposed to happen in 2023.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
By like 3 fucking weeks. They couldn't wait.
I'm surprised. Who files a lawsuit 2 weeks before Christmas when they take 2 weeks off? Like, Jesus Christ. You're kidding me? But yeah, the FTC actually filed a lawsuit to block it, and I'm going to say this right now. I have never been so happy to be wrong in my entire life, ever. I want this lawsuit to go through. I want Microsoft to be 100% blocked. I actually am going to laud the FTC on this and say, good for fucking you for doing something about this, which is a major problem. And the other people out there who don't think it is, you're crazy. You're crazy if you think that it's not insane to let one company have Bethesda, Activision, all those other studios. You're nuts. You're nuts. You're nuts. Especially a first-party company. So I'm glad about this. I want to see what happens about it. So there you go. They definitely didn't. I guess I should retroactively get a point, but that's done and in the books, I think. And then love the prediction shows. They're great. They are our favorite shows to do, I think. Our favorite shows to do. I have so much fun. And honestly, the addition of Phil last year and this year, I think makes it so much better. Because you and I...
You get more predictions. You get, like, more different things. I feel like you and I like do this thing at one point or another. We fucking did it this year, where one of our predictions is so fucking close to the other one.
Yeah. That it's gonna like cancel one out. Yeah. I also like the fact that like you get a census when it comes to like whether something should count or something shouldn't on the point system. I like it a lot better when it's like two people. Even if you get the point when it was one person, it's like maybe I shouldn't have gotten that. You know what I mean? Like I'm talking one guy into it, you know. So yeah. All right, well, that's it for Fan Traction. We only had 2 comments, and honestly, I want to say thank you because we are starting way late today due to a horrible Game Award recording. So we can't wait to get through this, especially since the Game Awards Knockdown show is usually our longest show, which is making me very nervous since I have to be up at 6:20 a.m. tomorrow with a child with double pink eye. So yay! So we're gonna move on, keep on trucking. We'll be right back with our talking point where we bitch about other grown men.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so we're back with the talking point. You guys know what the talking point is. We advertise it. It happens every year. Keeley has a fuckfest. We then talk about the fuckfest after watching the fuckfest, kind of. I just got flagged because I said fuckfest too many times in a row. But I did not watch all of it. Disclaimer. I watched some of it because I was trying to win my ass a Steam deck. But I didn't watch all of it. Neil did. So I'm going to let Neil lead us through this and just give old man cranky comments, which is what you guys want out of me anyway. So, Neil, take it away, man. Where are we starting?
Well, I don't know. There's a lot of different places to start. It's a very Keeley Christmas. I'll tell you that. Because he he did everything that he said he wasn't going to do.
Yep.
Overall,
Yep.
I'm going to give you the broad stroke first. Yeah. He said it was going to be a lot more of a concise show, a lot more condensed.
He said 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours. You lion sack of shit.
It was nearly 4, if I recall correctly.
Yes. We watched the pre-show and then the actual show. It took us 2 days to do so. We had in the pre-show, again, like we mentioned, this is barely even an awards show. They handed out like 8 of the awards in the pre-show. He at least announced some of the names of the nominees this time, because I don't know if you remember or not. In the previous years,
it was just here's the list.
He would announce the category, stand there in silence for 5 seconds while it's up there on the side of the screen, and then he would say, "And the winner is."
Right.
And then it would highlight, and then like 3 seconds later, he would say what it is.
Yep.
So I mean, he keeled it all up. Any point in time that he could keel it, he fucking did. So I don't know if we want to just hammer through the awards that were awarded real quick, or if we want to go through the announcements.
I definitely want to, before we get into anything, just respond to the broad strokes thing, because I have a couple of comments on the broad strokes. That being 4 fucking hours. When you said it was going to be 2.5, there's no real award. They, like you said, they only actually handed out like 8 awards tops. This, once again, was a huge vehicle for trailers and announcements and on and on and on, and then silly shenanigans, which we will get into. I'm sure you guys all want us to talk about it. We'll get there. The other thing I just want to say is Jeff Keighley has cemented himself as like the face of gaming with this shit too, because he hands out all the awards except for like 8 is him handing them out, reading them. He's the only person you see, and even though we feel like it's a disservice, which it is, it's just PR for that fucking dude. And I don't understand why he has the right to do that shit. The broader strokes of this award show was that it was not an award show. It did not creatively further the industry or the art of gaming in any way, shape, or form. Now, I don't know as far as awards or announcements how you want to do this.
I think there are 3 distinct categories that this all breaks down into.
Okay.
The announcements.
Okay.
The actual awards.
Okay.
And then the surroundings of or happenings of the awards.
The shenanigans.
As there are a couple interesting moments, one in particular that I'm sure everybody knows about, but we'll talk about it.
The shenanigans.
So let's start with the game announcements. Now, this is no particular order. This is just from the article that we have. So I'll kind of rapid fire to some degree through it, and we can stop and talk about stuff if we deem it necessary. So let's start with Final Fantasy 16. The game that was supposed to be out last year will not be out until next year in June. That's woof. But at the same time, typical Final Fantasy.
I was about to say, this is kind of one of those that, like, yeah, I'm mad, but
you'd be more surprised if it actually came out when they said it was.
I'm going to be surprised if it comes out in June, honestly.
Yeah, honestly.
That being said, I didn't watch this trailer. I don't give a shit about those games. I liked Final Fantasy 15 for like 10 seconds and a cup of coffee. So, like, I don't know. They're just not. They're not what I want to see, and the amount of hype they get, and the amount of leeway they get in the delays, I don't think is deserving to the quality of game they end up being in the end.
Yeah, I think 16 is going to be more of the 15 flavor, that live action, like almost Devil May Cry. But it is going to be mature rated.
Really?
My understanding. Yes, it is going to be a lot darker.
Gonna get some Final Fantasy fucking in there.
Who knows?
Love fucking in games.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how that one shakes out. So from there, we got another FromSoft announcement, and that's going to be Armored Core 6.
I am very excited about this. I'm an Armored Core fan. We need more mecha games, especially quality mecha games. I'm very excited to see what an Armored Core game looks like in the next gen. I don't remember seeing an announcement date or window. Did they say next year? They said next year, didn't they?
All they gave is a window of 23.
Okay, all right. So I'm very excited to see this one. I'm very excited to see this one. I think it should be an interesting game.
Yeah, I'm not that big a fan on the big robots, but it did look very stylized to something that would be up my alley, so we shall
Community fact, Asylum 66 hates giant robots too.
Oh.
Yeah.
The next one, I think one of the biggest announcements, and one that I'm sure you are very excited for. Hades 2 has officially been announced and is set for early access next year.
Yeah, they're going to probably do what they did with Hades 1, so I'm probably not going to play it for about 2 years. Hades 1 was very successful early access. They launched it in early access. They built it up through early access. Then they released the full game, and it got nominated for everything. Everybody loves it. You know what I mean? It was a great game. It's a great game. Hades 2 looks more of the same. I'm actually surprised that Supergiant is doing a sequel. They don't usually do sequels. This is the company that brought you Bastion, Transistor. Usually they're one and done. I'm kind of interested to see how they do a sequel. I think this is actually their first sequel. But the trailer looked really cool. What I really liked from the trailer, and this is the thing that really sets... This is how to do a trailer to make Zach happy. You showed me gameplay. This announcement trailer had actual gameplay footage from the game in it. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see pre-made fucking animated bullshit. Show me the game.
Yeah, very much so. It's something that's actually on its way, and I I think it's going to work out pretty well. They did the early access thing for a while. It worked out for them, and they're following that same format with the sequel.
They definitely have it down, so I'm kind of excited to see what we get out of that.
From there, I was actually hoping for, because there's rumors that BioShock 4 is in development, but we got the next best thing to an announcement of BioShock 4. Ken Levine's BioShock spiritual successor, Judas, was announced here and shown off. I 100% am about this game. It gives me all of the vibes of BioShock, 10,000%. If you watch that trailer and it didn't have anything about like Ken Levine, the creator of BioShock, or anything on it, you would have said straight up that that's a BioShock sequel. I thought it was before they put the name of the game up there.
Okay. I have nothing to say about Judas. Not necessarily because it's good or bad. It in no way, shape, or form tickled my fancy. I completely missed its trailer. So,
well, speaking of things that we really wish we could miss, the inevitable happened. Keighley got up on stage and basically wiggled his dick around, and yeah, you already know where we're going with this, and just hyped the crowd up with the next greatest thing in gaming. You'll never believe this world premiere of Death Stranding 2 officially being announced. And of course, Kojima came out on stage and they hugged and rubbed up on each other. And they stroked Kojima's ego about the whole, just like, oh, what else do you do outside of a podcast? Oh, you're doing so many things. You're so great at what you do. Slurp, slurp, slurp. And of course, like, Kojima is like, oh yeah, well, I had to write Death Stranding 2 because, I was already making it, and then the pandemic happened, and I didn't want to keep predicting the future. Shut the fuck up, man.
And anybody who laughed at that, you should be slapped in the face. Like,
yeah,
this man's ego is that overwhelming that if you remember, he jumped up on Mike a few days ago and said he was going to reveal a game that was going to change the face of gaming and movies. And then he revealed a sequel to Death Stranding. That's the game that's changing the face of gaming and movies. Then he got up on stage and said he's clairvoyant. Guys, this dude's insane. He's an insane person that makes insane games that you guys keep biting on like he's a fucking genius. And he's not a genius. His games are terrible. His storylines are cliched and trite. His dialogue makes no fucking sense. His story makes no fucking sense. And there's too much of it. And too little gameplay. And honestly, I don't buy for a second that the gameplay itself comes from him. I think he's too wrapped up in motion captures with that dude from Walking Dead than to fucking actually design the game. I think he's got a very creative team behind him that keeps his fucking ass alive. I hate Hideo Kojima, and I've never met him. I don't want to know him. He's terrible for gaming, and he makes terrible games, and I'm not gonna apologize for saying that. I think that, like, again, I did a review on Death Stranding just to make sure, and the best parts of Death Stranding are when it's not being written. Also, what part of the pandemic, what part of the pandemic shared any sort of similarity to a temporal rain sort of situation that when people die, they explode? No, that's not what it was. Well, everybody was lonely in this and they're lonely in that. Everybody's always lonely in pandemics. That's just how pandemics are. You didn't invent that. It's just the way it's always been, man. When you isolate yourself, you get lonely. It's fucking ridiculous.
How dare you speak so ill of our Lord and Savior, Hideo
Bring it on, Internet. Bring it on, Hideo Kojima. You suck. You suck, you suck, you suck. And I hate to sound ignorant, but I'm that mad that a guy with this much ego can just get away with this stuff, like, and be put on a pedestal like he's some sort of like second coming of Jesus to gaming, and it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Keighley and Kojima could go away forever, and I'd be all right with it.
Moving on from
and I don't want him to die. I don't wish that evil on people. I just maybe want him to fall down a couple flights of stairs or something.
Moving on from somebody that I absolutely hate to somebody that I absolutely adore. Idris Elba is going to be in the Cyberpunk 2077 expansion.
Did you learn nothing from Keanu Reeves, Idris?
I know.
Like, what are you doing, man?
He's, I mean, I'll be very interested to see. I'm going to buy the expansion. There's no way around it. I'm going to do it. As much of shit talking we've done about this game, overall at the end, I think I said I personally gave it like a 7 out of 10 in the end. But Stupid. I mean, it's quote unquote good now, so we'll see. But yeah, the major expansion is going to be coming out sometime next year. I think we just got a 23 release window, so chances are it's going to be in 2025 when that comes out.
You know what bothers me about this is that how easily the collective consciousness of humanity forgets what these people did to them. Okay, you know what? Maybe the game is decent right now. Maybe it is. I'm not going to say it isn't. Why does that give them a pass? Why does that give them a pass to make a Game of the Year edition and release it? Why does that give them a pass to get another big name star in? Why does that give them a pass?
Game of the Year edition wherein they did not win Game of the Year at all.
And I'm not talking about having a shitty game in which you then release having a shitty game which you slowly make better. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the way they handled the fact that it was shitty to begin with. The way they handled their hype train and delay train leading up to this. And the way they have treated us since then is ridiculous. How are more people not pissed that the single real expansion to this game is another $20? when the last time you gave them money, they gave you broken piece of shit that wasn't fixed for another 2 years while they sat there and told you it was your fault? Why does that give them a fucking pass to get away with this shit? It is my biggest problem with gaming. And I hate to say it, it starts to turn to the fans. Not fans of us. You guys are all geniuses.
Yeah,
but
no, every single one of you.
Every single one of you. But the fans who keep doing this, like, why do you forget so quickly what this company thinks of you as a person? What they did to you? Because that's that you're allowing this to be okay.
And they're never gonna live it down too if this DLC comes out and is broken as shit.
No, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. I thought that when Cyberpunk was broken. They've already lived that down, Neil. We're the only ones talking about it. We're the only ones still talking about how that game was broken. That's it. Everybody else is like, it's a good game now, fine, whatever. Idris, cool. I'll pay you $20. Game of the year, definitely. We are the only ones talking about it. They will definitely live it down. And that's where my rage is right here. Because I'm starting to feel like I'm on crazy pills. Like straight Mugatu from Zoolander. I'm on crazy pills. Why, in God's name, are we letting them get away with this stuff and just forgetting it like we're all goldfish? Drives me nuts. People. These people lied to you. They cheated you as a collective group. And now they are making you pay, even though you deserve a free DLC. They've expanded this in no way, shape, or form. They, in fact, canceled a lot of the things that you bought this game for. Do you remember the multiplayer DLC that they promised you? That maybe half of you purchased the game for, that they have now canceled, that they didn't cancel until a year after the game's release without offering any additional refunds to people who maybe had the game because they wanted to play it with friends? Why are we forgetting about this? I'm sorry. I'm very tired. I had a very long weekend. I've already explained it to Neil. I'll probably put it in the bonus somewhere. But I'm really upset about this. These people treat you like shit, and you eat it. You eat it happily with a smile on your face. You get pissed for like 2 seconds on Twitter, and then it's all okay. All right, I'm going to stop. I'll just keep going. I'm getting red. My fucking veins popping out of my head.
So next, we've got a trailer with gameplay for Jedi Survivor. That is going to be coming March 17th, 23. I'm sure it's going to get delayed as well. All these things I'm sure are going to get delayed. But this is a game that I personally cannot wait for to come out. I played not even a quarter of the first game. Just other stuff came out and I fell off of it. But it's one that's been on my high up on my restart list because it played just like a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, look, I'm going to say this. I think this is great. I think Respawn makes good games. I think Jedi Fallen Order was great as far as it goes. I'm sick of Jedi. I'm sick of Jedi being used as Star Wars. They're just fucking in everything. Even the stuff that doesn't have Jedi somehow becomes about Jedi.
Yeah.
Like, remember when The Mandalorian was just a bounty hunter who was protecting a kid? And then all of a sudden Luke's training him or whatever. And then,
into season 2, it
it's
went
like
off the rails.
It's like, look, I'm sick of Jedi. I'm not saying Jedi are bad. They're cool characters. It's just you've done so much of them. Let's see some other part of this world. So I'm not excited for it. That being said, anybody who played this game, you're going to get a good sequel. They're a good company that makes good games. More power to them.
And then back to the angry times, Diablo 4 will be coming out June 6, 2023.
You know what's really interesting? It might not be.
Why? Why do you think that?
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, if Activision doesn't get the buyout, they might fold. And if they fold, there won't be a Diablo 4 if it's not coming out until late next year, depending on how long the trial is or whatever. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, everybody out there who likes Activision games and is excited about Activision games coming out in 2023 and 2024, curb it just a little bit until this resolves, because this could really make waves. Make waves. through gaming as far as the FTC and this is concerned.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I don't think it would go so far as for Activision to fold, but yeah, it definitely... there's going to be people buying this game, but I'm really curious to see with everything that's gone on with Activision Blizzard, with Diablo Immortal, and then everything, beyond that with... what's it called? Overwatch 2, all the other bullshit and shenanigans that's outside of the realm of the gaming stuff.
Yeah.
All coming to the front now with this game here. I'm really wondering if there's going to be a response, sure, but like if it's going to be what they're anticipating.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that, yeah. I mean, that's the other thing, too. This company is... just one of the most money-grubbing companies ever. What they did with Diablo Mobile, and then when people got outraged about it, and they just doubled down and said it is the way it is, deal with it, it just shows what that company values. It is the almighty green before anything else. You're not going to get... and I don't expect Diablo 4 to be anything other than chopped up stuff. Chopped up things to sell to a fan base that's going to buy it no matter what. That being said, I also just want to say, on the subject of the FTC lawsuit thing, I did forget to tell you this. I did find this out, that if Microsoft, there's a clause in that contract that Microsoft basically promises to pay Activision a bunch of money if it doesn't go through, because they're so sure that it'll go through. It's nowhere near the 69. It's nowhere near the 69 billion or whatever that they're paying for them. But if they decide that it's not worth it, they can rescind the offer and just be like, "Here's $2 billion, bye." So yeah. So just saying.
Jesus.
There's more nuance to that than previously thought.
So, moving along here, an announcement I was excited for.
Sure.
Street Fighter 6.
Yay!
June 2nd. Hooray!
Awesome.
And it looked like they showed a little bit more of that story where you get to create your own avatar. But it looked... What I found very interesting is I had held the belief that you would not be able to do multiplayer with your created character. That said, in the trailer, they showed 2 created characters fighting each other. So, there's a way, somehow, unless it's just, trailer fluff, to have your own character and fight other people with it.
I hope that we could do, tag team stuff. Maybe not tag team matches, but, run around the open world together and do the stuff and be like, okay, now you do this one and I'll do this one. And you know what I mean? I hope we can do that. That's what I hope, because if we do that, you're getting a fucking series out of it. Definitely. Okay. Congratulations, though. I know you're very excited about it.
I am ready.
It does look interesting.
The next one, I feel like this was less about the game, but this one actually kind of brought a tear to my eye. There was a trailer for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League.
Oh, yeah.
And in this trailer, they showed Batman, and they revealed that Kevin Conroy is going to do the voice for Batman in the game. He already did all the recording before he passed. So he will be reprising the role of Batman one more time. And that's just awesome to me. I'm so glad. I'm so glad.
There's also some other interesting voice actors there. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to steal Conroy's thunder. He is the Batman for me. And same thing. I've seen all of his shows. I'm glad that he's going to be in it, whether or not I end up playing this game. But Samoa Joe is a prominent wrestler. Is actually doing the voice for King Shark. So I'm kind of excited about that. So yeah.
So from there, a couple quick hits here. There's the clip of the Mario Brothers movie got shown off.
I didn't see it.
I did not see it either
Okay.
because I feel like the stream that we watched everything on for the second half of our viewing, didn't have the rights to stream it. That got skipped over, and then some music and trailers the trailers were completely silent, so I think that they just eliminated that. Tekken 8, official trailer for Tekken 8 got shown off. The Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores DLC got announced. In this article here that I'm looking at, I did not see this as a part of the announcement, but in this article here, it shows that this is coming out in April, and it's only for the PlayStation 5. So I guess that's something. But
interesting. Okay.
Yeah. There's a weird Crash Team Rumble fight game.
That looks weird. Like a sports game. It looks almost like basketball and shit.
Yeah. It looks interesting. I'd be really curious to see how that shakes out. Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2
looks interesting too, honestly.
Looks interesting. Earthblade, the people who made Celeste, it's their upcoming game.
Yeah.
Announced for 2024. Holy shit.
That's an early announcement for an indie company
it's
too.
Way early. But they did show some gameplay, so
yeah. I mean, hey, you showed gameplay, you gave us a release window. I'm not gonna pitch a fit.
Bayonetta Origins, Cereza and the Lost Demon,
super weird.
like a prequel, weird storybook game. Hellboy is getting a comic book game looking thing, which looks interesting.
I have some problems with that. Let's stop right there for a second.
Okay, yeah, let's stop here then.
Look, when they do it right, it's great. However, I am really sick of the fad of making everything a fucking roguelike. Look. We got enough roguelikes, all right? We got enough of them. We don't need everything to be a roguelike. I don't think Hellboy...
But it's the next Battle Royale, Zach. It's the money train.
Okay, but they wouldn't make... The thing is the roguelike is worse than the Battle Royale. Because the Battle Royale had Battle Royale modes for games that were made sense for Battle Royale. Whereas... What about Hellboy makes sense for a roguelike? It doesn't. I don't like that it's a roguelike, so I'm kind of a little upset by that because I like Hellboy. I like the subject matter in Hellboy. I read some of those comics when I was a kid. I love the movies. Not the newer one, but the old ones with Ron Perlman. I want a good Hellboy game, and I don't think putting him in a roguelike does that. Okay, I'm done. Rant over.
So, the next one, this one's bizarre. Crime Boss, Rocket.
Oh my god. Thank you. I thought it was one of those narrative games, and then they're like, no, it's a heist FPS. I'm like, what the fuck?
A heist FPS with everyone under the fucking sun, including Chuck Norris and goddamn Vanilla Ice.
Vanilla Ice.
I have no idea who, what, where, why, how. Like, this all came together alone.
And it's a multiplayer. It's like a multiplayer versus shooter. I'm not going to lie. I'm actually kind of excited about that one. I don't know why, but I'm like, I want to see what that is and play that.
Just morbid curiosity.
More, like, of nothing. Like, why are that many actors not in a narrative game? I thought it was going to be like a Quarry type game. You know what I mean? Like a narrative action, like that version, but with action. They're like, no, it's a fucking heist shooter game. I'm like, what? I can level up Danny Trejo? I don't understand. I don't understand. That does look really interesting.
So then we have Lords of the Fallen. Is like a
Dark Souls
Soulsy reboot.
Soulsy.
Yeah. And then we have The Last of Us Part 1 and Returnal announced for PC both.
Whoopty. Returnal was shitty.
Yeah. Let's see. What else here? Because now this article is like talking about other weird things. Baldur's Gate 3 release window for August. There's a Forspoken demo available.
Did you play it?
No, I started downloading it right before we came on here. So
because that's the game that I'm
Thursday.
I still felt like that was like all show and no go. So I want to see.
Yeah, this is one from when they announced it like a year and a half ago. I've been like, okay, like this looks like a very me game.
Right.
But again, like you said, it looks very flashy, very showy. But what is that going to mean for like deep gameplay overall?
Right.
Transformers Reactivate. Sure. And
that one looks really weird.
It looks really weird. Very bizarre.
What's Banishers? I did not see the trailer for Banishers.
So this here, if I remember correctly from what I'm looking here, it's ghost detectives in the 1600s.
Right. Okay. I mean, I'm in for that, depending on how they do it. I think that could be really interesting. I just want to see what that ends up being in the final product.
Yeah. What else do we have here?
I'm gonna be stopping you on a couple coming up.
Yeah. So single player, first person shooter, Immortals of Averum.
That is Jose Ferris's next game. His next co-op experience, which is very interesting to me because it's a first-person magic shooter, which is like nothing else he's done when you really look at all their co-op games. But apparently it's still very co-op, like the whole This Is Us and Way Out and all that. So that's interesting. I'll wait, put that in the wait and see category.
Yeah. Remnant 2, I don't know anything about
Remnant was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. We played it many times for the channel. You didn't, but we talked about it. Remnant is a Souls-like game, but it's more based around the shooting, like shooting a gun aspects. And this trailer was fucking phenomenal. It had great soundtrack. It got me hyped for it. The only thing I don't like is we have no window whatsoever, no release window, and there wasn't a whole lot of gameplay that they showed in it. They did show a little, but Remnant was a great game. Hands down, great game. I would have played it more if I had any friends who wanted to play it with me, but we played it for, if you remember Led Astray with Phil all those many years ago.
Yeah.
That was one of the games we did that I led him into. I also have a music video for one of Nick's songs that I did with Remnant. I love Remnant. I think Remnant's a really cool game, really cool. I'm excited to see a sequel from them.
Next, Blue Protocol is apparently a game that already exists.
Looks great.
But it's going to be brought to America here via Amazon Games.
I have been following Blue Protocol for a little while. Basically, it's a Japanese game, like an MMO that was in early access for a while, and then it got released over there, and it's been kind of like Eric's has followed it for a little while too, just putting up snippets every once in a while, like when are we going to get this game sort of thing. I'm kind of excited for it to come. The only thing that makes me nervous is that Amazon is behind it. The big reason is Amazon is terrible about controller support, and I actually bought New World. I played it for 10 seconds and deleted it because to make the controller work, you have to go into this special menu and then put in every button for every piece of the controller that works, because they don't actually have proper controller support. And I was like, no, fuck that. I ain't got time for that. So I'm a little worried about that, but Blue Protocol is like they're very cinematic and very heavy on the anime too. So from what I've heard, they're very much about telling an actual cohesive story within an MMO, which is hard to do.
So there is another game, or it's like, I guess it's more along the lines of one of those walking sims. After Us was announced.
Yeah.
Very
Weird.
very cinematic-y sort of thing. Replaced just like a pixel 3D weird sort of, it's hard to describe.
Yeah, it's very
platformer. Vampire Survivors, I'd literally never even heard before.
How have you not
until
heard of it?
this.
It's a huge craze. God damn, Neil. We cover video games, dude. It's everywhere. It was
I know.
nominated for Game of the Year by IGN.
Hey, the real vampire news is the Dead Cells DLC.
Yeah, for the old people. Yeah.
For the Return to Castlevania, which is going to be rather interesting. I've not played Dead Cells. I feel like it is a game that I would enjoy. I know it was one of the first reviews that you did on the show a while ago.
Yeah.
Or on this channel, rather.
I don't know if I'd say first, but it was a long time ago.
One of. It was an earlier one.
It was very early. Yes.
But yeah, I 100% am curious about this because I'm hoping it gets a good enough reception for Konami to get off their fucking ass and give us another real Castlevania.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I have no faith in Konami, but Dead Cells is it is a roguelike, but it was a roguelike before that was necessarily everywhere, and it has survived on just solid DLCs, solid content. I haven't played it in a long time. Not saying that it's bad. It's really good. It's just I've moved on to other things for now. I might go back to it for this. It's a great, very solid platformer, kind of hack and slash roguelike that is worth it. It's right up there with, Rogue Legacy as far as the best go for 2D platformers. Perfect fit.
I'm just going to kind of get through the last of these here real quick, just because I don't think there's going to be a whole heck of a lot to say about some
one
of
or
these.
two I want to stop you on, but yeah, go for it.
But we are nearing the end of all of the announcements, at least.
Yeah.
So Valiant Hearts, they're doing a sequel to Valiant Hearts via Netflix, I guess. Like
no. They're making
they have like their mobile app game department where they made like one Stranger Things game.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure the original one is going to mobile. I don't think it's a sequel. I think it's the OG one. It says Valiant Hearts 1 is going to mobile thanks to Netflix. It says it literally in the article you sent me. So
the World War I epic sequel to a Valiant. Oh, okay, I guess I read that wrong. Whatever. I think it's weird enough that Netflix still has a gaming division, but doesn't.
They're doubling down.
Service.
They've got like AAA that they're making. I don't know where you're going to be able to get them, but
yeah. Colossal Cave was I don't even recognize this trailer, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
One that I'm sure that you've even mentioned that you're excited about here, Wild Hearts.
Wild Hearts looks amazing. It's supposedly coming out in February, I believe. It is possibly going to be a good challenger to Monster Hunter, which is what I'm hoping for. It's a Monster Hunter. I don't know what's going on over there. But
sorry, there was a cat in my Christmas tree. Gotcha. It was moving, so I had to make sure that this tree didn't topple again.
Gotcha. It's a Monster Hunter type game, but it's made by Tecmo.
Koei Tecmo.
Koei Tecmo, thank you. The guys who make Dynasty Warrior, they made a monster hunting game with the help of EA, which is really interesting as far as a partnership program goes. And I think that everything you can watch on this on the internet looks amazing. And it's all gameplay. So I'm very excited for a potential competitor to Monster Hunter, just because competition makes the products good. It just does.
Yeah, for sure. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is getting raids, which is interesting. At least they're trying something new.
Right.
So I can't fault them for that. Fire Emblem Engage is getting DLC. There was an in-engine trailer for Dune Awakening, which is I hate those words because all that is just cinematics in the tech that they're going to use for the game that's eventually going to come out. No release date attached. Another Destiny 2 expansion. Cool beans, I guess. Among Us is getting a new game mode, which, if you are into Among Us, looks very interesting.
Yeah.
And then finally, they showed off some gameplay for the Horizon Call of the Mountain. It didn't even move the needle for me because it is a VR game, and we've already talked about franchise fatigue and how I'm already concerned about this franchise as it is.
Right.
The DLC, I'm fine with the DLC coming to the PlayStation 5, but this is a bit banana sandwich.
I am insanely bothered by something that is not on this list that I specifically watched at the show. And that was a game from I can't remember the actual studio, but I remember that they're partnering with Digital Extremes, which is a Warframe company, and they're making a co-op kind of like a Warframe medieval fantasy thing.
Yeah, I remember seeing something about that.
That looked really cool. It looked really cool, and there's no trailer in here, and I can't remember what it's called. I don't think that was Colossal Cave.
I don't think so, no.
I'm looking at it real quick. Colossal Cave looks like something else. Roberta Williams. So what the fuck was that? You remember seeing that, right? Like, I'm not crazy.
Yeah, no, you're not crazy. I know what you're talking about. I don't remember like what it was though.
Yeah, it's driving me nuts because that looked really good to me. It looked really good to me because I love Digital Extremes. They make Warframe. They do games of service really well. And this other company kind of brought this almost like Fable-y look to it. It's going to drive me nuts. That's going to drive me nuts. I'm gonna do a little internet searching while we move on because I don't have anything to say about those last couple ones.
All right, well, I'll cruise some of the winners, like the big ones. So Game of the Year went to Elden Ring. I'm not necessarily surprised by that. The Player's Voice one, I'm really actually kind of upset about because it actually kind of turned into a thing about a week before the awards. That Genshin Impact was like they were offering shit to players to go vote in the Player's Voice thing because it's 100% player driven, and fans of Sonic Frontiers were really up in arms about it.
Right.
Which understandably, in fact, if I remember correctly, there was even like a statement made by like the official like the Game Awards that they take all these sorts of allegations very seriously.
Which allegations were we talking about? I'm sorry.
So Genshin Impact was offering like some premium currency or something to players to go and vote for Genshin Impact for the Player's Voice Award. That is like that's like the most. It's like, hey kid, I'll give you $5 if you vote for me. Like straight up and down buying votes.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. So best ongoing game, Final Fantasy XIV won, as well as community support. It also won that. Mobile game, Marvel Snap. Best adaptation was Arcane. Role-playing game, Elden Ring. The anticipated game, which I kind of think is still a bullshit category, yet here we are. Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, which I'm not necessarily surprised about. And then we have narrative and action adventure went to Ragnarok.
I'm going to stop you for a sec.
Yeah. Yeah.
That game was left off that article. I don't know why, but it is called Wayfinder. And it is by Airship Syndicate and published by Digital Extremes. It's a character-based online action RPG, and it is going to be early access, and that is scheduled. Wait, I don't know. I don't know what the early access is, but the release window is fall 2023.
Yeah, I remember seeing the trailer for that and being intrigued.
Yeah, early access will be spring 2023 for PC and PlayStation consoles, as well as a closed early playtest for select players in December of 2022, which is this week. This week, December 13th. Man, why didn't I sign up for that? Oh, I need to sign up for that.
So, I mean, we kind of, because there's like a bajillion different award categories. Is there any one that you really want to focus on? I know.
Not really. The thing is it's hard to really focus on the awards. I hate to treat the awards ceremony like he treats them, but that's kind of how we have to cover it, right?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I guess we can kind of roll that into that third branch of what we were mentioning before about how this can be broken down into three separate categories.
Right.
The awards and everything about them, these surrounding events, I guess. So, I mean, Jesus, the pre-show, they just shout out awards for no pomp and circumstance. Just like, okay, here's a list. Guess what? Here you go. There's the winner. Yep. Next, come on, let's keep them going. By the way, here's some trailers. And then the first actual award was like a half-hour long fucking ordeal.
Yeah.
They shuffled the corpse of Al Pacino out onto the stage and had him speak. Just speak. He couldn't even read the teleprompter, the poor guy. And admittedly on the stage straight up said he had no idea what the hell was going on with video games or anything like that, but found a way to worm himself into it and everything.
I don't necessarily think he did. I think Keeley knew somebody is all it was.
So he presented the award for the best performance. And Christopher Judge, the voice actor for Kratos in God of War, wound up winning, and he got up on stage, and
that dude crazy.
He had this. He had a very long emotional speech. This speech lasted no fewer than at least 15 minutes, if not more. And it was a very emotional sort of speech. It was from the heart. But then the award show, the runners, kind of realized we need to get this guy off the stage because he keeps going, and they started to do the whole playing off the music sort of thing, and he then started getting louder to get over that, and eventually he went away. But they learned their lesson at that point. They
were also behind, so anybody they put up there that immediately got that noise 2 seconds into their speech.
Yeah, and that does kind of suck. I'm not trying to take anything away from his acceptance speech. Mm-hmm. He did admit to everybody that he actually almost quit the role, which was very interesting. A very interesting place to have made that announcement was in winning an award for that role. But yeah, after that, and everybody only got a minute before the music started going. So, I mean, that kind of sucks. And then, like we'd mentioned, the whole Genshin Impact thing, basically buying votes off of people. But the one that really stole the whole fucking show, that has broken the internet at this point.
Well, hold on. Before we get to that, I do want to say again, the way the awards up until this point were handled were abysmal and abhorrent. And I know that I already said this earlier in the broad strokes, but like there was no time given to these people. Christopher Judge was the only person who got really time, and that's because he kind of bulldozed his way through it. All the time was given to awards. Was given to announcement trailers. None of the time was given to awards. And there was too many awards. Really, too many awards whatsoever. So there are a lot of people out there doing a lot of hard work that didn't even get to do acceptance speeches. That basically get their shit mailed to them. So I just want to say that right off the bat, that this is still... And what's worse is that the show went over by an hour. And they still didn't have like any awards handing out, you know?
And I'm not one who watches award shows a lot. They only last 2 hours, right?
Right.
Like,
they're usually like 3, I'd say, like somewhere around 3.
Even three is fine. With a pre-show included 4.5 hours, right. Even if we had a normal evening with nothing going on, that is a heavy fucking lift for a show that starts at 7:30.
It's ridiculous. And we were recording until what, 11 something, and they were still going. Like
they were still going.
It's absolutely ridiculous. And I didn't win a Steam Deck, so.
So yeah.
Okay, so now we can do the end. We
can talk about the stupid shit. So at the very end, whenever it was announced that Elden Ring had won Game of the Year, everybody got up and made their way onto the stage. But at some point during that, some rando kid just got up too.
Okay, he followed them up.
Yeah,
he just got up with them when they walked up and pretended to be part of them.
He was supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Nobody stopped him because he acted like he was supposed to be there.
It's like part of Miyazaki's team.
Right. So he hovered around in the back, and I didn't really think super anything of it. I thought it might have been somebody's kid or something like that. He was just kind of hovering around in the background. And while the entire speech is going on, nobody, glommed onto the fact that this kid was not supposed to be there. He looked like he's like 15 years old, wearing some like big oversized coat. So like everybody makes their announcements and everything like that as to, who they're thanking, what motivating, thing like that. And the music starts to play. Like they're done and about to walk up off stage. And this fucking kid just like runs up to the microphone and says, "Okay, my turn. I think I want to nominate this award to my Reformed Orthodox Rabbi, Bill Clinton. Thank you, everybody." And everybody was confused as ever-loving fucking shit. It's at that point that finally they grabbed this kid.
You actually saw security slowly inching towards him.
Coming off on either side of the stage there. Kayla actually showed me this meme after we had seen that, because I saw it and I was like, wait, did this kid just thank Bill Clinton? Like it didn't register in my head, because it's like one of those things you had wrong.
Right.
And then everybody looked confused, and then I Googled it afterwards, and sure as shit, I found that out. But then Kayla showed me this meme. It's like, maybe if the Game Awards spent more money on hiring security than spending money on Kojima, like he's the 92nd fucking coming of Christ, maybe people would be protected at these award shows. It was absolutely bizarre. And you know what, though? That's like the perfect encapsulation, a snapshot of what these awards are.
Would you like me?
It is just a bunch of people trying, like pretending like they're doing a thing and recognizing art. Yeah. And then out of nowhere, a troll shows up with some stupid shit.
Yep. Would you like me to put on my tinfoil hat for this one?
Oh, but there's a tinfoil hat for this?
Yes, I do. I have
this will be interesting.
This is a very tinfoily hat one, but it's a tinfoil hat one. The infamous Zach tinfoil hat is on my head now. I think this was planned. I think it was a stunt. I think this was Jeff Keighley. I want you to go back through every one of these fucking Game Awards. There's always a thing. Jose Ferris yelling "fuck you" to the Oscars at the top of his lungs. That one last year where somebody rolled a bunch of, what was it, apples or balls or something under everybody's feet during the award ceremonies.
I missed that one.
No, some company like dumped towards the back row, dumped a bunch of boxes of like, I want to say like Skittles or Marlboros or M&Ms or something, and they were just rolling down under everybody in the auditorium for basically the rest of the night.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you can look it up. There is a thing about every one of these Game Awards, a viral thing.
Yeah.
Like every fucking year. So you're telling me every year you have failed to check boxes for balls, tell Jose Ferris not to fucking swear, not to get this guy up there, you didn't check for this guy. Like every year there's a weird viral thing that happens. That's not coincidence. Come on, man. This is like, he's doing this. He's fucking doing this because he knows that viral marketing is the marketing. He probably, have you heard who the kid is? Have you heard a name responded to the kid? Because I haven't yet, and I've been looking.
No. Yeah, no.
And before you tell me that's private shit, it's not. All arrest records are public records. So any news outlet could be like, hey, it's this guy. But the only way we've heard that this guy is arrested is from Jeff Keighley himself. Posting on Twitter saying, hey, people, in case you don't know, don't do this. But the person who jumped the awards has been arrested. Oh, really? Why haven't we heard from any other news outlet that this man was arrested, or what his name is, or why he did it, or any of these things? No, we haven't. We have only heard from Jeff Keighley on it. I think it's shit. I think it's bullshit. I think he engineers one of these things every fucking year. He goes, what's going to be the thing this year? Is it going to be this thing, or is it going to be... And some of them are more successful than others, because obviously you don't remember the ball thing, but you remember the Jose Ferris saying, fuck the Oscars. Oh, yeah. So, like... I think there's always a thing.
Whenever he was going to be the presenter for Game of the Year.
Yeah, I think there's always a thing. I think there's always a thing, and he engineers it. I think he probably said to Jose, hey, man, if you could swear a couple times, that'd be great. And I think he engineered the ball thing. He's been doing a viral thing every year. Every year we've got one of these viral stunts, and you can't tell me that every year somebody pranks the Horrible Game Awards. Like... Seriously? Every year somebody pranks you and you can't stop it? That's garbage. That's garbage. So, I don't know. I don't buy it for a second. I think this guy is like Keighley's like nephew or some shit. I don't buy it. All right, tinfoil hat off.
That's fair. But another fest in the books.
Yeah.
The summertime event. It's on its way. Don't you worry.
You know what's sad is how much we talked about the first time we did one of these reviews. It was all about the awards. We talked about the winners of the awards and whether or not they deserved it. It's so sad that this year we've basically become like the awards. We just talked about the announcements. We glazed over the awards because they didn't matter to them, so why should they matter to us? And it's a shame. It's a shame. I think it's great that Elden Ring won Game of the Year over God of War Ragnarok. Not because God of War is a bad game, just because I think Elden Ring was the better game, and Elden Ring released earlier in the year. But yeah, like, we don't even talk about that because it didn't matter to them, you know? The only thing we're hearing about is Bill Clinton for that, and that was like the only acceptance speech that really was done, you know? So I don't know. Didn't like that. I don't like that. Don't like that.
And we're completely even. We're not even going to be able to talk about the complete like lack of Xbox at the show as a whole, because that'll be a whole separate. You know, we'll go for like 15-20 fucking minutes.
Well, and I'm not going to go into it. I'll say this. There's an article on IGN. I know I don't pimp IGN stuff much, but there's an article on IGN written by Ryan McCafferty. I cannot remember what the name of the article was. I think it was something like Microsoft drops the ball at the Game Awards or something along those lines.
Yeah.
I want to explain to everybody out there really quickly, Ryan McCafferty has been permanently attached to Phil Spencer's wang-a-dang since Phil Spencer got in there. And I don't hate Ryan McCafferty. I think he's a good dude, but he's very biased towards Xbox. He runs the podcast Unlocked.
Yeah.
The Xbox podcast. That's him. And he was super critical of the fact that there were no fucking trailers. And the reason there were no trailers, and you better believe they had trailers ready, the reason there were no trailers is that lawsuit happened. That lawsuit was announced, 5 hours before the Game Awards?
Yeah, something like that.
I think he pulled them all. I think he pulled all of them because they got to look feeble. That's what they got to look now. And Ryan McCafferty actually goes into that and everything on that. I urge you to go read that award, because when somebody who is so Xbox positive comes out and goes, what the fuck, there's something wrong, But yeah,
of course, Microsoft has made a response to that. We have a lot of stuff to show you. We have so much stuff to show you. Yeah, stringing people along.
The other thing is, all they ever do is show us stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that's all they did this year was show us stuff. Right. I don't want to see any more stuff. I want to have things, and you're not making things. Like, the best part of you is when you find other studios to put games on your Game Pass right now. All right. Let's get into odds and ends. I got a couple. I want to get this done. Okay?
Faux show.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so we're back with our final segment. That's odds and ends. We collect smaller news stories. Don't necessarily deserve a talking point, but we want to tell you about them, riff about them, just generally reference them. I have 3. Neil has 4. He's going to start us off. What you got for us, Neil?
Well, it has begun. Microsoft has announced that beginning in 2023, all of their first-party games are going to be that are developed for the Xbox Series X and S are going to start costing $70. We were warned that this was going to happen. I was listening to the Next Gen Console Watch that they do weekly on IGN, and they were actually mentioning that it could very well be the part of the reason they're doing it is to drive people more toward Game Pass.
Exactly.
Oh, an extra $10.
That's what I was about to say too.
An extra $10 for a game. Oh man, that really sucks. Hey, but did you know we have this solution for you over here?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say this right now. These are the ripplings of what you get when you have a company that owns as many studios as you. Because you realize everything that just went up is Bethesda. Everything, theoretically that just went up is Activision. Everything that just went up is all their other studios too. When you have a game company that owns all the studios, they decide the price of games. This is the start of that. EA started it. Nobody was receptive to it, but they're sports games, and the sports people are going to buy the sports games, period. But that's all that had really, really raised. Xbox doing this is a clear thing that it's okay now. Everybody else is gonna follow suit because they're the market leaders on the games. I think that and you're 100% right. This is to drive people towards Game Pass. 100%.
All right, what do you got?
All right, I have Elden Ring DLC comes tomorrow. Well, tomorrow as of this recording, so it came yesterday if you're listening to this, and 2 days ago if you're watching this. And it includes it's been referenced and thought about, but nobody announced it or officially from the company. So it's kind of a sneak release, even though everybody knew it was coming at some point. The Coliseum DLC, where it will include PvP combat with singles, doubles, and trios in different places in the world. The specifics of the different game modes that you'll be able to play and how that comes about are kind of still a secret, but it is also a free DLC, so more power to you, Elden Ring.
Did you want me to go? I didn't know if you had more to say, if you were just going to die.
Oh, no. That was it. I think it's cool. I think it's cool that they're just releasing it to it. I think it's cool that it's free. It's an interesting game to have a versus, too.
Yeah. So keeping with the Microsoft bullshit and shenanigans, Microsoft has announced that it has made a 10-year commitment to bring Call of Duty to the Switch. That, of course, is only if the deal goes through for Activision. Obviously, because they can't make those decisions ahead of time. But I think it is... it's all show, honestly. At this point, it's just they have no reason to do it. I don't know how they even plan on running fucking Call of Duty on there outside of cloud.
This has nothing to do with Switch.
It has.
I'd be surprised if they even have intentions of putting it on Switch. If they put it on Switch,
there hasn't been a Call of Duty on the Switch in forever.
The reason that they can do it is xCloud. And they're going to do it how Control got on there and how Hitman 3 got on there.
Yeah.
It's through game streaming, which is not always great on Nintendo. Actually, usually pretty terrible. But they're going to leverage their xCloud to try and do it right, and it's going to be a nightmare. That being said, the only reason they're agreeing to this is to show the world at large, the FTC, and whatever judicial committee ends up deciding on that lawsuit, that they're willing to do 10-year commitments on Call of Duty, and that they always were. This is just a political maneuver to get themselves closer to finalizing their Activision deal.
And actually, if you don't mind, I'm just going to roll one of my other ones because it's directly related, and we've already kind of talked about it anyways. Okay. So like we'd mentioned too, that the FTC is officially stepping in to block the Microsoft deal.
They're attempting to. They're filing. They have filed a lawsuit.
They filed the lawsuit.
Yes.
But when Phil Spencer was asked about it, his response is the biggest line of horse shit ever. His response was, there is only one major opposer to the deal, and that is Sony, stating that Sony keeps their dominance in the market by making Xbox smaller.
There it is.
What?
There it is. There's the war, guys. There's the war. And I'm going to say right now, this is the animosity from both sides. Anybody who thought that Xbox was the good guy in this, there it is. There's the hate. And I'm glad that Phil Spencer said it, because it's finally kind of showing his hands, because he's still been in the market kind of like, hey, I'm your friend, I'm your best friend, I'm totally cool with Sony. I don't know why Sony's being a dick. He hates Sony. He's hated Sony for a while. I think something happened behind the scenes between the two companies, because it didn't necessarily used to be this way, but the console wars right now are more raging than they have ever been, even back in the Sega Nintendo days. This is some dark shit that we're talking about when you're bringing it in front of the judicial courts, of America. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. So this is some shit. As far as being small and Sony making them small, look, Sony's evil. I'm not going to say they're not, but the idea that Xbox would not be in full and total control of the marketplace if this deal went through is kind of insane.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, talking about lawsuits, we've got another suit here. Riot, creators of Valorant and League of Legends, is suing NetEase. NetEase is a company that makes all your favorite games as slightly worse games. They created a game called Hyperfun, which is basically exactly the same thing as Valorant. Riot sent them a letter like, please don't do this. They reskinned everything. So Riot is suing them. This is a weird one for me because there was a lawsuit between PUBG and NetEase, and PUBG actually won via settlement. It's a closed settlement. We don't know how much money it was or whatever, but we know that there was a settlement and NetEase was being sued. So I'm kind of weird because in my point of view, I don't think PUBG should have ever tried to sue Fortnite back in the day. I think that once a game is out there, it's a game, and it's going to have knockoffs. And no one is ever going to play the knockoff and go, oh, this is better than PUBG. They're going to play the knockoff because they can't get PUBG. Like, that's what they're going to do. Or whatever in that case. Valorant is a free-to-play game. I don't necessarily think that Hyperfront is stealing enough of Valorant's player base to actually warrant a lawsuit. But, again, there's precedent for this. There was a lawsuit that was settled when this happened with the same company doing the exact same thing. So maybe Valorant is in the right. I'm not sure, but I'm of the mind that, like, it's a knockoff, man. You're going to have knockoffs, you know?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Hyperfront?
No.
Have you heard of Valorant?
Well, yeah.
There you go. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand the issue here, you know?
So I'm going to go with my last one here, and if there was one that was going to be overlapped, it's going to be this one. Our old Pally Wally, John Garvin.
It's not this one.
Oh, no?
I know the one you're doing, but it's not this one.
Of Days Gone has said just even more stupid fucking shit.
Oh, really? Him?
This guy,
No.
wait, oh, okay. I was about to say, wait, there's no way you didn't hear about.
He said more crazy stuff? No. Not Johnny Boy. Not Johnny G.
Yeah, it's more reasons why people didn't like his game. He's got 3 different things. One of them, he did admit that there were some bugs in there. Yeah, sure, there were some bugs. You know, that's probably why it reviewed low. And then he also got a little bit more grumpy and said that, people didn't really play it. So, you know, they didn't really get the game. They didn't know what it was about. I've talked before about the fact that I got the game for free and couldn't get through the fucking intro on the fucking motorcycle because the controls were so bad. And then he just out of the fucking blue launches into his last reason why people didn't like it. He blamed woke reviewers who couldn't handle a gruff white biker looking at his date's ass. Sure.
Wow.
Whatever, my guy.
Wow.
At this point, I almost wonder if he knows that he gets attention when he says stupid shit, and he's just gonna do it for the attention. So whenever he gets his next game rolling, he can say more crazy shit as a way of marketing his new game. That's the only reason why I can think that he just does it. He bitches about absolutely like every single tiny thing. It's just not his fault. It's nothing that he did. It's everybody else's fucking problem. You know, I don't. He clearly can't handle criticism.
What bothers me, what bothers me about this whole thing is if I would be open to that case if every one of the reviews was about like the main character is just ridiculously chauvinistic and none of the reviews said that. Reviews said, it's a buggy game. It's too fucking hard, man. You can't... Look. You can't be the target of some woke movement or cancel movement without actually being the target of them. Like you just can't. Like, it doesn't work that way. Like, it's fucking insane. Like, it's fucking insane to think that that's the reason people didn't like this game. The other thing I want to point out, I just want to point this out right now. There are tons of games out there that have reviewed terribly and sold millions and millions and millions of copies. There are tons of games out there that have reviewed very positively and sold nothing. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to use your parlance, my dude. The market decides whether your game is worth it or not, and the market has decided it isn't. It doesn't matter what the reasoning is for. That's one of the things that bothers me so much about this guy's bitching, is at the end of the day, Johnny G, they don't like your game. It doesn't matter what you think of your game. It matters that they don't like it. It's that simple. And the thing is it's been out there enough that, like, if it was going to come around and be a cult game, it'd be a cult game by now. They don't like it. The only reason people still talk about it is because you get on Twitter every once in a while and decide to be crazy pants. And that's fine. I don't know why you're doing that, because even if that translates to sales of your game, you're not going to get any money for it. He's not even with the company anymore. And then the company separated themselves from him too, and were like, he doesn't speak for us at all. Like, you're not making money off that game anymore. So I don't know what you are trying to accomplish, but you're not accomplishing it. It's that simple. It's that simple, man. It's that simple.
Yeah. So what do you got for your last one?
My last one, crazy enough, Yuji Naka has been arrested a second time. A second time for insider trading. The only reason I'm mentioning this is I mentioned it before. The creator of Sonic the Hedgehog, well, co-creator of Sonic the Hedgehog, was arrested recently for insider trading. And I don't know how he got out of that or whatever, but he was arrested again for insider trading on Final Fantasy VII specifically. So he is now 2 charges in the hole for insider trading. He's collecting them. I don't know what's going on with that one, man. Either he has a problem with insider trading or somebody's really out for him.
Yeah, that's very impressive because it's been about a month since the last one.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Like, it hasn't even been that long.
No.
Like, time limit wise, like. All right, well, I'm out of odds. Are you out?
Yeah, I'm out. Let's finish and go sleep.
Somehow this actually
go
became
sleep.
kind of a short show. I don't know. We're only at an hour 24. It's weird. All right, we'll be right back with plugs, basically, so you can skip it.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the...
Pause. You didn't even pause.
I paused. I said pause,
No,
and I put the
I
thing
didn't
up.
hear pause.
You didn't hear pause?
I didn't hear pause.
I said pause and put the thing
I
up.
didn't hear pause. I can't
know,
see
Neil.
the thing.
I think you need to listen better is what it is.
That's fair. Well, we're here now.
I'm gonna edit the pause in now, just so that they can hear it. If you guys don't hear the pause before this, then Neil's right and I'm an asshole. I mean, Neil's already right. I still owe him a pizza for Ragnarok. I can't believe you haven't come collecting for that yet.
No, that's fine. I haven't come collecting on that.
I owe you pizza. I repay my debts, baby. I owe you a pizza and Phil $50 for unrelated. He did the cover art for the game.
Oh.
But I want to pay him out of the proceeds of the game.
Oh, okay. That'll be
I
nice.
have not received those yet. So.
Oh.
All right. Speaking of that, let's talk about plugs. You got anything special you want to plug there, Neil?
Well, help Zach pay Phil and buy this right here. Get it for somebody for Christmas who likes.
And they're not going to get it by Christmas.
Tabletop games. Yeah, they may not get it by Christmas. I don't know. Mine came relatively quick.
Did it? No.
If you right now pause this podcast and go buy it, you may get it in time.
Just stop what you're doing and order my wrestling game. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and plug some stuff. We got a couple of things coming out. Right now, Melissa Blazik and I are playing the Oregon Trail remake for Nintendo Switch on Prelude. Very, very happy with those episodes, even though I've been content copyright claimed on all of them. If you want to hear more about that specific matter, watch my review, which goes live, which is already live if you're listening to this, of the Oregon Trail. I am going to be doing another little review series. I'm going to be doing Kinseed, and then I think another one that's coming up. I also have received some new music from my brother, and I am putting some videos together. So if you are excited for some new music from the Red Delirium Project, I got an answer for you. I got some videos coming up, and I'm actually making one out of Stray. So, that's right. So other than that, I think that's everything to plug. You guys can see me on stream 11 a.m. on Tuesdays for Forever Communities on Dead by Daylight. No, I'm sorry, State of Decay. Amateur Hour, I'm kind of trying to work through the Cowabunga collection Tuesday nights. And then Hard Rock Horror is my Dead by Daylight stream on Fridays at 11 a.m. where I kill people, basically. All right. check out everything else we have to offer. We have a lot of stuff. I also want to give one final plug to the Wizard's Respite narration is back. I've started doing those again. I know my voice is terrible, but he likes them, so okay, maybe I'll come back to him later and redo them, but for now, if he likes them, I'm good with it. So there are 2 newer episodes up that I've posted in the last 2 weeks. No, I'm sorry. There was an episode last week, and then there's another episode coming this week on Thursday. So please check those out. Wizards Respite. I think they're great stories. The one that is coming out this week is absolutely my favorite narration ever, even with my voice the way it is. It's so good. It's such good writing, especially if you've read the entire series so far. All right, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. We're done. You guys can contact us on Facebook at OMAGamingDH, on Twitter at OMAGaming9. You can join our Discord. Links in the description below. Grinch Tree compels you to do so. And then as long as you keep watching and listening, we'll keep making them. We'll see you guys next time. Pause. Get fans reaction up. I got a horrible review for the Oregon Trail going up tomorrow.
Yeah, I saw you guys are playing that.
On Prelude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I actually really like it. I thought it's a fun game. It definitely takes you back if you played it as a kid.
Oh, yeah. I remember playing it and not knowing what the fuck I was doing. I know that.
Yeah.
And then there was also like this educational game that I got called the Yukon Trail.
Oh.
Yeah. So it is. You hear Yukon Trail and it's like that's what you think it's. You think it's like the Oregon Trail. No, it's like a game, but it's like one of those educational games, and like nobody really like dies. You just kind of like go from town to town across the country until you get to California.
Nice.
And then you like stake a claim and then try and pan for gold. And
it's very similar to Oregon Trail, honestly.
At the end of the game, usually it's just like, oh yeah, you basically wasted your life because you spent all this time and money to get out there, but you didn't actually get anything to show for it.
Oh, that's great. You don't earn any gold. Like, the end of the game is you die of dysentery alone.
It's actually how I learned how to play poker, because you can play poker in that.
Nice. That's the
definitely
classical,
an educational game that teaches children how to play poker.
How to gamble. That was one of my things. As I was playing it this time around, I was like, this is actually a really fucked up game. Everybody in it can die. You can watch a family die of disease. Oh, yeah.